Well, finally, we got some actual wrestling tonight. NXT, September 5th, 2018. Where could I start with this show? This show was good from top to bottom. Honestly. If the matches weren't good enough for you, the storyline telling was. We had two segments dealing with the whole incident with Aleister Black's injury or attack and so forth. We also got a new match is announced 2 weeks from now for champion or title for title between Ricochet and Pete Dunne for the UK Championship and the North American Championship. That's going to be a hell of a matchup. Why it's being shown on NXT programming instead of an NXT TakeOver show is beyond me, but hell, I'll take it. Because Pete Dunne and Ricochet as in-ring competitors, they're very good in the ring and give you a ton of fucking entertainment to what they do in the ring. Several matches that happened. We had Cassius Ohno versus Kantu Reeves starting us off. Reeves, I really can't stand. I didn't even care. I'm glad Ohno knocked his ass out and pinned him 1, 2, 3. And that match was okay at best. But that's Reeves for you. He sucks. What else? We had the Street Profits versus the newcomers, the Forgotten Sons, with Steve Cutler and Wes Blake. That match was actually very good. Steve Cutler actually sustained a broken nose, I believe, because he was bleeding out his nose like crazy. And he managed to pick up the pin and the victory for his team against the Street Profits, having the Mighty, formerly known as TM61, taking the Street Profits drink cup that they bring to the ring. Supposedly, I guess it's a metaphorical symbol of them being rejuvenated and brought back to life in a sense, helping them succeed in their matches and have victories. That's how I look at it. Pretty much, because when they had them drinking out of the cup, there was nothing there. You could clearly see that. So, of course, it was an empty cup. As silly as that sounds. But yeah, the Street Profits and the Forgotten Sons was a very good match. I actually did enjoy the good tag team action that occurred in this matchup. From there, we also had the Otis and his partner from Heavy Machinery in the backstage being interviewed by William Regal and a lawyer trying to find out who attacked Aleister Black. They're actually suspects of people that they've seen, or witnesses, I should say, not a suspect. A witness to what occurred outside the arena that night when Aleister Black was attacked. Otis was fucking hilarious in this. He's like, William Regal, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to break the toilet. I did it. I know I did. I broke the toilet at the Performance Center. I went ahead. I had some coffee. The coffee gets down in my intestines. It really makes me all rumbled up and gets me to go take a shit. And I fucking shit like a fucking racehorse and I busted the toilet. And William Regal's going, what? And everybody in the room staring at Otis going, huh? What are you talking about? This has nothing to do with what we're about to talk about. But thanks for the info. Eek. They gave up some information that might give us a clue in on who actually attacked Aleister Black, and they brought up Tommaso Ciampa. They said the only person that was not seen in that footage very well was Tommaso Ciampa because he was hiding behind bushes. Now, given the sign that probably the two major suspects that are obvious are Lars Sullivan and Tommaso Ciampa, I honestly think that they should go a route that nobody's going to predict. And those two people are Johnny Gargano and EC3. EC3 to get himself, in a sense, noticed once it's found out that he was the attacker. He gets a main event matchup with a top name in NXT. So he was trying to help build his own name, get noticed, be taken seriously, that kind of thing. And that's pretty much what I think they could do with the EC3 idea. Johnny Gargano, on the other hand, is a different story. You could go ahead, I mean, he did accidentally help Tommaso Ciampa win the NXT World title from Black, but what if you could take it and spin it and say at the end of all this that he did? That he purposely acted as if he was against Ciampa, but in reality, it was all a ruse. The whole thing that they did was a ruse to get themselves at the top. To help each other be the main event, be the main focal point of NXT. I think that would be a really good, intriguing story that would blow people's minds, and not to mention, I do understand it would make people scratch their heads going, why all the violence that you two did to each other? What was the point in that? You guys are fucking crazy. Well, if you look at Tommaso Ciampa, he ain't exactly all there in the head. And Johnny Gargano right about now in this situation, he looks like he's losing his own well-being as well. He looks like he's lost his fucking mind. He's feeling sorry for himself. He's constantly whining and crying. The whole thing is centered around him and Tommaso Ciampa. The whole entire show is surrounded by them. Now, if they went ahead and went about eliminating, and they planned this out together, and made Johnny Gargano be the guy to attack fucking Aleister Black to get him out of the way and out of the picture so he could have a one-on-one shot against Tommaso Ciampa, and they were actually cahoots with each other to do this, hey, I mean, that could be an idea they could go with. Now, to me, I think it's creative. It's kind of thinking outside the box, as being a little bit more complex and not straight to the point simplistic, which would be maybe probably the best idea to go, is go simplistic instead of going in all whippy-washy turns and making everything so scrambled and insane to the point where the viewer thinks, this is retarded, let's cut the cord here and give up on this storyline already and not care about it or have interest. I think it could work, possibly. Tell me, you guys tell me your opinion on this by commenting down below on this video about what you guys think of what I just said, if that makes any sense. If it's anything of a thing that you believe we could see in the storyline with Aleister Black, or do you think that they should go a different route, and who do you think they should pinpoint the attack on? But that's really all I have to say on that. What else? We had Velveteen Dream have a fantastic match, but before I get into that match, with Velveteen Dream and Gargano, we also had Kairi Sane face an enhancement talent who just pretty much got her ass outclassed and beat down to shit. Kairi Sane wins and walks away victorious, which, Shayna Baszler coming out and pretty much announcing that there's going to be a reenacting her rematch clause. At that point, though, she says, for right now, let's see if you can sink or swim. So they went ahead, had a brawl, and Kairi Sane won the battle. In the sense of that, I honestly think it was the most pathetic-looking striking game that Kairi Sane could ever pose to a woman like Shayna Baszler, especially one who's formerly known as being trained in mixed martial arts. I don't see Shayna Baszler being anything more than a step in class above Kairi Sane in every step of professional wrestling, in-ring competition, or combat sports. Kairi Sane's a great character. She's good in the ring. I'll give her that. She's a good performer. But when it comes to somebody like Shayna Baszler's got her beat every which way when it comes to actual competition, actual skill set, and way of actually getting you to believe she's gonna kick your ass. And she does. So Baszler, I honestly see her winning back that title, and I honestly think she's going to be going up against Kairi Sane at WWE Evolution. That's when I think they should have that match. That's guaranteed. Then we get into Tommaso Ciampa. Tommaso Ciampa announcing that he's noticed that nobody has announced a number one contendership for his world title. Very interesting and good point. They're coming up to November in about 2 months. We still have yet to get any opponent for Tommaso Ciampa. Tommaso Ciampa is just doing pre-recorded segments where he promotes himself, stating, hey, I'm the NXT World Champion, I'm the main event, and I'm tired of going into the arena and hearing all of your dumb, pathetic opinions. My God, man. Tommaso Ciampa is the fucking bee's knees when it comes to being a heel character. He plays it to a T. He's one of the greatest heels I think I've seen in a very, very long time, and a man who deserves to be a world champion even on the main roster itself. You heard that come out of my mouth. Fuck NXT. No offense to NXT. I love NXT. I've grown to like it. I really like the idea and creative genius, writing and creativity that the writers do. But my God, man. Tommaso Ciampa is steps above a lot of the people in NXT. He would make it in the main roster, and that would only mean that Vince McMahon would just give him the opportunity. If Vince McMahon gave Tommaso Ciampa the opportunity to be a main event heel on Raw, or I would say more SmackDown than Raw. Raw is just, he would be eaten alive because they're such a bigger load of shit. But SmackDown would probably do a lot better with use with him. And I'll tell you the truth, Tommaso Ciampa, if they put him on the top pedestal of SmackDown, not world champion right away, but just put him up against big names, such as like Jeff Hardy, Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, anybody. No title on the line, nothing, just a straight up storyline grudge match that he would build with. He would come out looking like $1 million. This guy has got the look, he's got the eye. You look into his eyes, you see realistic feeling. You get a feel of realism from this dude. This isn't just some put on act that he's placing in front of you. He seems, in the sense of what he's playing, is a mean, pissed off motherfucker who's ready to kick your ass, do whatever it takes, and walk out being the absolute best. That is what you see in his eyes. You see determination. I haven't seen that in any character in professional wrestling outside of guys like Edge, Randy Orton, Triple H, not even Ric Flair. No, Ric Flair's just style and profiling kind of look. Sting, he's another guy that had that look in his eye, not when he was a heel, but even when he was just a face, he had a look of determination in his eyes. With a blank stare kind of thing. Other guys, John Cena, another one, playing as a face. That's what I get when I look at guys like the men I just mentioned. You see realistic determination in their eyes. And that's what you see in Tommaso Ciampa. Tommaso Ciampa is the real deal. I honestly think by WrestleMania season, he should lose the title to Johnny Gargano. Johnny Gargano should make the main event of NXT at that point. and Tommaso Ciampa needs to go to SmackDown. He goes to SmackDown. He needs to be pushed to face a bunch of big-name guys immediately. I mean immediately. Now, I have a match on SmackDown with them, but I mean have a build from month to month to month with each and every character they decide to post him with to have a match on a pay-per-view. This guy needs to be an automatic push right then and there. The guy who needs to walk away as WWE Champion at WrestleMania needs to be Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan's opponent he needs to lose the title to, Tommaso Ciampa. Now right away, SummerSlam 2019, Tommaso Ciampa should be WWE Champion of SmackDown, beating Daniel Bryan. Because that match, you will notice how, if you compare Daniel Bryan and Johnny Gargano together, their in-ring match set, the way they wrestle, is very, very similar. They have a lot of similarities between the two of them, and I honestly feel that would work well for Tommaso Ciampa, and Daniel Bryan would have a legitimate heel to work up against. Fuck The Miz. You have Tommaso Ciampa versus Daniel Bryan. You're going to get a really good story and some series of good matches from pay-per-view to pay-per-view. Guaranteed. That I can promise you. So, that's what I have to say on that subject. Now, getting into Johnny Gargano's matchup with Velveteen Dream. Johnny Gargano is playing a role where he's going on a downward spiral. He doesn't know what's up, what's down. He's completely mind-fucked. He's playing the role very well. He's acting this out very good. Superb. Excellent. I am believing in this, even though I know it's fake. I know it's not real. It's all work. It's part of the show. But if you're looking at it from a kayfabe point of view, meaning in the sense that you're looking at it as like if you're watching a movie and you're taking it in and you're seeing it and how it's being acted in front of you, you feel and can relate to what Johnny Gargano is going through. Tommaso Ciampa's in his head. Tommaso Ciampa is beating him mentally. And he needs to reset his batteries and find a new way to get back to the top. So in reality, with this loss, needs to lead for him to get off TV for a while. I think they need to give him a vacation, give him some time off, have him come back after the Survivor Series weekend. I think that's what they need to do, and bring him back and work him from the top, or from the bottom all the way back to the top again. And by WrestleMania, he needs to win the world title from Tommaso Ciampa. In the meantime, Tommaso Ciampa just does what he's been doing, and he's golden for the next 6 months, or what have you. Whatever amount of months till WrestleMania weekend in April. That's it. That's all they have to do with him. Tommaso Ciampa is an easy thing. Johnny Gargano is a rebuilding stage, but I mean, even him, he's an easy deal to work with this storyline, and keep them away from each other. Let the storyline settle, let it rest for a little while, then reintroduce the storyline back again at the end of this wrestling season. Of course, wrestling season ends at WrestleMania weekend, so there you go. That's how I would do this. I think that's the best thing that they can do. I think you put Johnny Gargano in a series of good matches with 2 other NXT... well, not this one, but... you put him in a bunch of series of good matches, main eventing on NXT show, and then eventually, finally, at the NXT TakeOver event that happens at the Royal Rumble, have a number 1 contenders match against another guy they've been building up very well, and have them go off at each other for a one-on-one match to determine the number 1 contender. I think the best person they could go with is Velveteen Dream. You put him in that co-main event matchup with Johnny Gargano like they had tonight, you'll get a fucking even better match on the bigger stage. And have Johnny Gargano walk away and winning the match with a clean head and getting the victory. Velveteen Dream had a lot to do with the victory he got tonight. He also got inside of Johnny Gargano's head by calling him Johnny Failure. That would really piss off anybody by saying that they're a failure and a disappointment as an in-ring competitor. Or in any kind of field that they're into. So, honestly, they went about the right way with this whole entire matchup. I agree with the decision that they made Velveteen Dream win. I think Johnny Gargano needs to take a back seat for a while, come back after Survivor Series weekend, and get back in the ring. Have him have his promo back after Survivor Series weekend. Make him come back probably the first actual taping of Full Sail University. Have him come in the middle ring, do his promo gig, and state where his mindset is and where direction he wants to go with his career. If he wants to retire from wrestling because he's just doesn't think he's got it anymore, or he wants to continue on with his career. Pretty much making it a career decision. Promo that they do. At that point, obviously, his career path would continue on. And he would go on to say, you could have him say, look, you know what, I've got to reset my batteries. I've gotten some time to think. I have gotten enough opportunities trying to chase after the NXT World title all 2018, and I failed every single time. I think I need to take a back seat, stop thinking about myself, and worry about trying to get myself back to the top again by winning myself matches after match. Whoever faced Johnny Gargano, and if they happen to beat him, congratulations to anybody beats Tommaso Ciampa. I think they said anybody who beats Johnny Gargano. Anybody who beats Tommaso Ciampa, congratulations to them. But I hope Tommaso Ciampa stays champion, because I would really like to beat his fucking ass and take that title from him. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and get myself back to where I need to be. Become Johnny Wrestling. I've lost myself. I need to get that person back. Pretty much reiterating what they were at one point with him, losing the matchup against Andre Cien back in January of 2018, and moving on from there. And getting him back into what he was. And not have this total mindfuck that he's got going on inside his head. And then reintroducing that storyline back to us with Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano being a totally different story. Making it where it's an even playing field. Tommaso Ciampa has been having title reigns. His title reign constantly being challenged, but him overcoming the odds. And figuring out new ways to screw over his opponent and still walking away still as the NXT champion. At that point, we should see Johnny Gargano by January of 2019 being in a number one contenders match and seeing Johnny Gargano win that matchup to go on to have the right to face Tommaso Ciampa for the NXT World title at WrestleMania weekend, an NXT TakeOver event that happens. That's what needs to happen. Bottom line, that's all that they need to do with this storyline. It is so easy. It is so, and it's built out for a long period of time, leading to the ultimate goal, ending the Johnny Gargano Tommaso Ciampa story. And WrestleMania weekend is the right place to end it. Not at Brooklyn. Not at Chicago. Those were just continuations, giving us more and more reason to be intrigued by this story. Now give it a chance to settle out. Let it calm itself down. Johnny Gargano's going in a mind-fuck friends. And make him come back a totally new character. Back to the way he used to be. Clean mindset. And have him and Tommaso Ciampa build a story for 2 fucking months. From January all the way up to April or March, whenever the hell they have this dumb WrestleMania shit. And it's real easy with Tommaso Ciampa. He says, I'm in your head, motherfucker. I got you beat. I've beaten you every single time. You've beaten me once. I've beaten you every other time. I am I am NXT. You're in my world. I'm not yours. You're in mine. And I own your ass. And that's the way they need to project this storyline when they reintroduce it back to the audience. And that's the best way to do it. And at the end of the day, the story ends with Johnny Gargano as your new NXT champion. Boom! There's your story right there. Anyway, guys, leave your comments and opinions down below. I'll definitely get back to you on that. Also, hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel, and hit the like button if you like the video, by the way. But anyway, guys, I have said a ton of things that I feel about the show. I think the future storylines are very bright. I think they got a lot of promising possibilities. They've created a lot of possibilities. They could go in many different routes, especially with the Aleister Black storyline that they got going. Who attacked him? You guys leave your comments and opinions about that. I would really like to know what you guys thought of, or what you think is going to happen, and who's going to be revealed as the person who attacked Aleister Black behind Full Sail University. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a great night.